condition as possible for tomorrow. Thank you. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, Simon. Thanks to Francesco Guidotti. That's covered that one off. And we were wondering, weren't we, while the somewhat perplexing position of Jack Miller this morning in the Q2, 12th place, and the massive gap of 1.2 seconds behind poleman Bezzecchi. So on his second run, then some front tyre vibration. If you want some inspiration about how to launch a victory challenge in a sprint from way down the grid, well, he's only got to look at his teammate Brad Binder in round 2 in Argentina. And what about this man? It's been a pretty difficult 250th Grand Prix weekend so far for 32-year-old Frenchman Johann Zarco. Purple patch for him, 3 podiums in a row for the first time in MotoGP, but 8th place on the grid, which is accustomed to coming from that third row, Luce, you have to say, but he hasn't looked like he's had the speed or the pace of Le Mans, Mugello or Sachsenring.
5th time in 6 races Johann Zarco has qualified on the third row of the grid. He has been in the top 6 in the last 3 sprints, but still not to finish on the podium on the Saturday afternoon for Johann Zarco. Had a really tough day yesterday with that big high-speed crash at the Ramsuk. It's not been the best of weekends so far for Johann Zarco, but he is in the best form of his MotoGP career. The main thing he said yesterday is when you lose confidence early in the weekend here at a circuit like Assen, a circuit that requires so much commitment, it's so difficult when there's a bit of a stiff wind blowing, and of course it's such a difficult layout. It's very difficult to get that confidence back, and it looks as if Zarco is still on that journey to try and get back to where he was coming into the weekend. Some
Pecco Bagnaia fans then watching on. Can their man, their favourite, deny the pre-race favourite? This man, Marco Bezzecchi, who's getting himself in the zone, getting himself set and ready to go for this 13-lap Tissot sprint here in the Motul TT Assen. Bezzecchi's just looked so good all weekend. He was 3/10 clear of the field in P1, nearly a 10th-and-a-half clear of them at the end of yesterday's afternoon session. Couple of tenths faster than the chasing pack this morning until that late charge from Bagnaia. He was over 2 tenths ahead of everybody in that decisive Q2 this morning. Jorge Martin will be keeping tabs on him as well, launching from the head of that 4th row. 10th place for the Martinator, who's on this fantastic run, isn't he, at the moment? 29 points he scored in the first 3, was way down 11th in the World Championship, 96 points in the last 3 to work his way up to 2nd in the standings and emerge as Bagnaia's, at the moment, closest adversary.
Expecting a lot of aggression on the opening lap of this sprint, and this is a difficult circuit, particularly a difficult first sector to try and pull that off. If you're looking at the likes of Johann Zarco and Jorge Martin coming from outside the top 7, they're going to have to try and make up places in the very early stages, but it's a very tight turn 1 here, and then of course the circuit sort of snails back on itself into a very slow hairpin at Disturbance, so it can get very congested through there. So Marco Bezzecchi in the perfect place to try and get that whole shot and get a clear track early on.
So 7 days on from a career best qualifying in MotoGP, Luca Marini finds himself back on the front row here in the sprint at the Motul TT Assen. World champion Pecco Bagnaia, can he continue his golden record on Super Saturday afternoons, chasing a 7th sprint podium in 8? But it's all eyes on this man. Does a first sprint victory of 2023. Back in for poleman Bezzecchi.